Get me that signal. We need more power.
Hey you, wake up. I said wake up. My name's Reynolds, Jack Reynolds. I'm captain of this ship. It's a Firefly class vessel named the Red River, and you've been caught as a stowaway. Now I've caught so many stowaways over the years that I put together this tape you're watching to help me decide on whether or not to let you join my little crew and work for your passage, or open up that airlock behind you to give you a view of the river from the outside. We're going to play a little game, you and I. This board game here is what we call a simulation. This is Firefly the board game from Gale Force 9. In this game you'll have the chance to command your own Firefly and travel through space making deals, completing jobs, and collecting cash. If it turns out you can do a better job than I can, well, I just might let you stay on board. Don't worry now, I ain't no Gorham Reaver. I'm going to show you how the game works and tell you what I think before we get down to business. You might not think it's very fair betting your life on a game, but the crew and I find it pretty entertaining. And after all, you stowed away on my ship. Here's what the back of the box says about the game. After the Earth was used up, we found a new solar system and hundreds of new Earths were terraformed and colonized. The central planets formed the alliance and decided that all the planets had to join under their rule. There was some disagreement on that point. After the war, many of the independents who had fought and lost drifted to the edges of the system, far from Allegion's control. Out here, people struggled to get by with the most basic technologies. A ship would bring you work. A gun would help you keep it. A captain's goal was simple. Find a crew, find a job, keep flying. Welcome to the verse. Well, that's what the back of the box says. Why don't we go and take a look inside the box? You need a fair-sized playing area to set up Firefly the game, as you can see by the setup right here. I've had to squish it together a little bit so that I could get everything in view, but usually you just play on a bigger table. The object of the game is to successfully complete one of the included story cards, which each have specific goals that need to be accomplished. For example, the one that they recommended you start with is the King of All Londinium. It's got 3 separate goals. Goal 1, takes a master's touch. Goal 2, and knowing is half the battle. Goal 3, the 2-card Monty. And you go through the game trying to complete each goal, and the first player to complete all 3 goals wins the game. Each time you complete a goal, you grab one of the goal tokens. See? And once you have amassed enough to finish off everything, you win the game. There's a total of 6 story cards, and one of these is intended for solo play, this one here. It also has 3 variants of its own, which is kind of nice. Now to begin, you'll select the ship model and board and leader. So here are the ship boards. And as you can see, this is down here, everybody starts with the same drive core card, which goes right here. And this has got a 5 on it, which means when you do a full burn, you can go 5 spaces. Here are 3 separate slots for upgrades that you can purchase. This is your cargo hold, where you can store your cargo or passengers or contraband or fugitives. And here's your stash, which is better hidden than your cargo, but can still be taken over by the Alliance. So you still have to be careful with that. You get to pick from your leaders. Of course, here is Malcolm. Malcolm is a pilot. He is also a soldier. He has morals. He has 2 fighting skills and 1 negotiation skill. Plus, when you complete a crime job, you get to take 500 extra smackers. You place the model in whatever sector you wish to start the game in. So, for example, here's what the models look like. This is the
Serenity model, because it's orange and it matches the card, which is orange. And the board itself is divided into sectors, with that further divided into alliance space, which here is outlined in blue, and border space, which is outlined in this yellowish orange-like color. You get some cash, $3,000, and some fuel, and a few jobs to get you started. Now the jobs are the main crux of the game, as this is how you earn the money to basically buy whatever you need. New jobs can be acquired from any of the 5 different contacts scattered around the board. For example, over here is Badger. Over here is Amandur. Over here is other ones. So there's 5 of them on the board. And you can gain reputation with these contacts by successfully completing their jobs. You can also take them off if you aren't careful. Now the jobs can be many things, like robbing a bank. I'll just pick a random job here. This is Badger. This is an illegal job. It is a crime. Diamonds the size of testicles. You have to misbehave to get paid, and there's 3 misbehave cards. That will come in important later. The job begins, or the job takes place at the Georgia Sun, the Carey planet. So you would have to fly over there to do this job. What you have to be able to do this job is explosives and 2 fighting abilities. Hey, well, guess what? Malcolm has 2 right on his card. So you're in good shape there. But you need explosives to actually do this job. You would get paid $3,500 for completing it. And if you have anybody with a soldier trait, you would get a bonus $300. It's got a little story on it too. A freighter transporting gems from the rim is scheduled for a short layover at Carey. Grab a few choice souvenirs. Another note on the Misbehave cards. If you need to misbehave, you'll see icons for the number of cards from the Misbehave deck that you'll need to complete in order to fulfill the mission. The Misbehave cards can be very tough or super easy depending on the mix of crew and gear that you have on your ships. For example, here's a Misbehave card. Here's what it says. Old-fashioned shootout. Let the bullets fly. So you have one of 2 options for getting through this Misbehave card. You can attempt to get a fight result of 8 or higher in order to pass it. And what that means is you would take all of your crew and your leader and gear that have a fight icon on it, add them together, and then roll the 6-sided die. And if your score is higher than 8, you get to proceed. If it's not, if it's 1 through 7, you have to kill a crew member and the attempt fails, which means you just put the card back and that's done. Your other option is you can't get paid if you're dead. If you already have a transport, some kind of transport as a piece of gear, you don't have to stop at all. You just proceed and you automatically pass the this Misbehave card. I should note that the dice are exploding dice. So if you roll a 6, it's got this special Firefly symbol on it. If you roll a 6, it counts as 6, and then you get to roll it again and add to that, which is actually pretty nice. This brings us to the crew and the gear. There are 5 locations on the board that you can go shopping at. Like over here is Osiris. Over here by Badger there's Persephone. Over here is Regina. So you can use your hard-earned money from your jobs to buy stuff. Each location has its own deck of cards, and you can use their consider 3, pick 2 rule in order to look at the cards from both the discard pile and the draw pile. And the game starts with you seeding 3 cards into the discard pile so that you have some you can initially look at. So if you see somebody come up, oh, I gotta have Imara, you can head over there And you can hire Imara as one of your crew members. You can have up to 6 crew on your ship, and each can provide you some excellent bonuses and ways to successfully pass your dice roll checks. But each time you complete a job, you have to pay everyone in your crew the value that's listed on their cards, or they'll become disgruntled and possibly end up leaving the ship. Like $300 to hire her, but you got to pay her $300 every single time you complete a job. There are 3 skills in the game, and most tests will involve using one of these skills. They are the fight, the tech, and negotiate skills. Each symbol you have on your various cards counts as a +1 to the die roll you'll be asked to make. For example, this card has 2 negotiate and 1 tech. So that would be +2 to negotiate and 1 tech. +1 for tech. You can also pick up gear that the crew can use. Each member can basically use 1 item, although some have special rules and they can use more. Here's a firearm. You attach that to one of your crew members and that gives them a +1, and it counts as a firearm. Other items can help you on missions or help avoid complications with the authorities. Finally, there are ship upgrades that you can purchase to make your Firefly better than everyone else's Firefly. Each turn, now, you're going to get to do 2 of a possible 4 actions. You can buy stuff if you're at one of the correct locations. You can pick up new jobs again if you are in the right spot. You can work on an existing job. Or you can move. This is the Alliance cruiser. Now, it's funny, the Reavers ship, which starts over here, I looked at it and it looks like it's been chewed up by a dog. And I picked it up and I thought my dog had chewed it up. I'm like, how did this dog get this thing and chew it up? But it's not. My daughter told me, no, Dad, it's a Reaver ship. It looks really terrible. I'm like, oh, okay, so what? They had an army of dogs chewing up the pieces before they put them into the box. When you move, you have a choice of either moving 1 space for free, bink, or doing a full burn and moving up to the distance listed on your main drive card. And everybody starts with that at a 5. The unique aspect of this type of movement is that for each space that you move, you must reveal a card in the Alliance or Border space decks and see if anything happens. For example, here I am on Quinshi Huang. I move into Alliance space right here to the next quadrant. I flip up an Alliance card. It says, Abandoned Ship. Rescue the valuables. I can load 2 contraband and stop, or I can just keep flying. So, I can pick up some extra cargo that I can sell to one of my contacts that I'm in solid with. And let me explain, when you complete a job for a contact, you get to take their card and that first job and flip it over and put it under your sheet. You're in solid with them. And for example, when you're solid with Badger, you can pay $1,000 to clear all your warrants. Also, you can sell contraband to them for $700 a piece and cargo to them for $400 a piece, which is nice. Each one of the contacts has a different ability when you're solid with them. You can lose reputation with them too. Of course, that's never good. Now I move to Albion for my second move, and I flip another card. It says keep flying. Now I move here, flip another Alliance card, keep flying. Now I'm moving into Border space. So I flip one of the Border space decks. It says, it's the same as the other one. It says I can stop and load 2 cargo, or I can just keep flying. So you have to do that with every movement up to your 5 that you're allowed to move. You can get different drives so that you may be able to move differently as the game goes on. And it's kind of hard for those to come up though. Usually the cards are going to just say to keep flying. As you saw, sometimes you can run into cargo that can be salvaged, Or you might get boarded by the Alliance or the Reavers. The first will cost you money. The second will cost you the lives of your crew. Although these can be avoided with the right combination of skills and items. You'll spend each turn flying around and completing jobs until you feel you're ready to attempt to complete the story goals. The first player to complete all of the story goals wins the game. And that's it. That's how you play Firefly the game. I didn't show you the paper money. Look at that paper money. Isn't this game thematic? I love the setup of this game. Anyway, that's how you play Firefly.
For Firefly fans, this game is for you. It's really dripping with theme. The designers seem like they were truly fans of the show, and these are not just some mechanics that were shoehorned into the Firefly universe. While I was watching the demo of the game at Gen Con, the guy teaching everyone had each of them shout, "Curse your sudden and yet inevitable betrayal," when they passed the turn to the next person. It actually added a lot of fun to the game, and prompted me to go find the scene in the show where they actually said that. The turn marker is a dinosaur counter, for Pete's sake. I mean, this is definitely the Firefly game. The game does take a while to play. I've got a few games under my belt now, and we are still clocking in at 3 hours. I'd like to see a way that you could adjust the length, possibly with shorter story cards. The solo story says it takes about an hour to play, and it was dead on. So it's just adding other people that gums everything up. There were a few rules that I found to be a pain, and I quickly adjusted them to facilitate our enjoyment of the game. The one rule I changed is the 3 active jobs, 3 inactive jobs rule. Just say 6 jobs total. I mean, it's goofy that I have to waste a turn jockeying around jobs so that I can pick up a new inactive one because I'm in the right place. Also, the way you work a job is by assigning existing crew to it, then assigning gear to the crew, and then working the job. Forget all that nonsense. If they're on your ship, then they're working the jobs with you, unless something says specifically that they stay on the ship. And don't bother monkeying around with the gear. You put it under a crew member's card, and it's theirs until you move it somewhere else. You can play how you want. These are just things that I did to streamline the game and clear up some of the sticking points we had. It would also help if there was some kind of way to remind you to pay your crew after completing a job. Otherwise, it is kind of easy to forget it in the heat of the moment. I don't know what that would be, though. Finally, the misbehaved cards can be a real pain, and sometimes it's just the luck of the draw as to whether you're going to win or lose the game. They should add a token that you could use once per game that allows you to complete a single check successfully, or it allows you to draw a new misbehaved card, or something like that, because it just got annoying at times when I was through 3 cards and just needed 1 more to win the game or complete a job, and then I draw a card that you can't win. Frankly, if you complete several misbehaved cards of a certain goal, they should stay completed so that the next time you do it, you don't have to do them all again. So if it takes 4 to complete this goal, and you made it through 3, but the 4th one killed you, or screwed you up, then those 3 stay completed, and the next time you attempt it, you just have to do the 1. Otherwise, going through all 4 every time just adds time and aggravation. That's how I see it. But don't get me wrong, aside from these little rule quibbles, Firefly is a good game. If you've got the time to spare and you like Firefly, then you're in for a fun ride around the verse. I suggest putting on the show in the background too, just to enhance the mood. Just don't get too distracted. Thanks for joining me for this review of Firefly the game from Gale Force 9. Let me know if you found this review helpful by leaving a comment or sending me an email at elliott_miller@voiceofe.com. Make sure to subscribe to the Voice of E channel on YouTube, as I'll have plenty of gaming, entertainment, and comic book coverage this year. And it should be a lot of fun. Thanks again, and until next time, keep your mind free.
Get me that signal. We need more power.